We're going to go through a shoulder external rotation, PAILS and rails, biased in shoulder abduction. So we're going to take this classic pec fly motion to bias the shoulder abduction, and we're going to train external rotation in this position. So external rotation being our ability to perform this movement. So it's a combination of taking this to end range in combination with taking this into end range. So you'll need a box. You may want to use a yoga block, especially if you know you have a good degree of external rotation. The height of the box, the height of the yoga block are variables that you can play with to find your sweet spot for your end range. So how I like to do it is I'm aware that in this position, if I was to lower myself into what feels like the end range for shoulder abduction, so that pec fly motion, I can still get a good degree of external rotation even though I feel like I've lengthened this position. So then I can use the yoga block to get a little bit more specific. So I could place my hand here, lower myself down. I feel the tissues around my pec lengthens. I see if I can externally rotate. It's a bit more of an effort. So I can definitely feel now here that I've challenged the shoulder joint. It's brought it closer to end range for both positions, shoulder abduction and also shoulder external rotation. And then you can get a little bit more specific in exactly how you set yourself up down there. I could opt to be down here and move forwards a little bit more, move back a little bit more, twist my torso away or towards, just to add those little extra tweaks. Once you've found your setup, the PAILS is going to be to rotate in to the box or the block, okay? So as you do this, think your primary action is to try to do this as best as possible. So as you're trying to internally rotate into the box, you also want to be mindful of not letting the elbow come out of position. So a common error I tend to see is as people create the PAILS and they rotate in, this comes off the box. So keep that pin down, produce this movement as best as possible from your shoulder joint. And then the rails will be the opposite. You're trying to externally rotate as best as you can without trying to pull the arm back or the elbow off. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that, but that would make this an exercise which is, if you combine it with pushing into the box for the PAILS and rotating in, it's a combination of internal rotation with shoulder adduction and the rails external with abduction. Here we're just trying to isolate the rotation from the linear movement, but there's no reason you can't do the two in combination as well. So I'm going to run through an example set. So I've set myself up, assuming I've held this passive stretch for in around 2 minutes. I'm now going to take a good brace, and I'm going to solidify, and then I slowly build up the PAILS contraction. So I'm thinking rotate down into the box, and I start at 20, build to 40, 60, assessing how things feel, assessing my capacity, deciding where to stop. Once I've got to my safest, greatest effort, I'll hold for 20. Then once I've held that effort for 20 seconds, I'll switch contractions. So I'm trying to externally rotate. If there was a scale underneath my palm, underneath my fist, I'm trying to get that scale to read 0 as best as possible. I'm keeping the elbow in contact with the box at the whole time. I'm holding that. I'm keeping tension on the back of the shoulder. And then afterwards, I'll slowly relax, set back down. And then if I feel I've lost the tension, it's eased off, I'll lower myself a little bit more to try and lengthen the shoulder, try and bring it closer to my end range. Another option would be to adjust the yoga block, take that aspect a little higher to bias the shoulder into more external rotation, and then in combination with lowering my torso down to get slightly further into the stretch. So just to recap, this was a PAILS and rails set, isolating internal and external rotation by having the shoulder biased in a pec fly position. So this pec chest position, pec stretch position. It can also be done in combination with the linear contraction of, for the PAILS, pushing down as if you were doing this, and then for the rails, pulling away, lifting off as well. So there are a few options on how you can approach this exercise.